Welcome back, everyone. Next up, we have Gaucho Group Holdings, Inc. It trades on the NASDAQ under the symbol VINO and is a rapidly growing e-commerce-driven public holding company that has built from the ground up and currently operates a portfolio of experiential luxury brands and real estate assets. Please welcome its chairman and CEO, Scott Mathis. Welcome, Scott.
Thank you very much. Very glad to be here. And I want to thank everybody for joining us through this conference today. And I hope we can learn a lot. This is only 20 minutes, as we saw from the earlier speaker. We got cut off a little bit with questions. So I'm going to give the summary first on where we are, and then we'll get into all the nuts and bolts of the business itself. But we couldn't be more excited about, coming through this COVID and really what the future holds for us for 2023 and beyond. So let me get through with the presentation. First of all, obviously, we'd like to talk about the forward-looking statements. Any forward-looking statements made by us in this presentation is based only on information that we currently have available today and speaks only as to the date of which it is made. We invite you and encourage you to look at the further evidence of the forward-looking statements on the slides. Obviously, that's regulatory stuff that I have to go through, so please do that when you look at the slides. I really urge everyone to really read through the tea leaves, go through our 10K filing, which will be out tomorrow. In addition to that, look at the slide presentation. We put everything in it. I know we're not going to be able to cover all of it today, but we certainly have an enormous amount of value accumulated for a company that's trading on the NASDAQ with only a $21 million market cap. So I think there's huge, significant upside potential if we're able to execute on any of our business objectives. So first of all, our opportunity is that we are basically, for the real estate holdings, almost a completely non-leveraged company. We own 4,138 acres of luxury real estate in the heart of the Napa Valley of Argentina, which is Mendoza. We have a golf course. We have luxury, vineyards. We're producing wines that are sold in Europe, the United Kingdom, here in the United States. And we have a boutique hotel also in Buenos Aires we'll talk about. We're also launching our e-commerce brand, Gaucho Buenos Aires, which we're opening a store in the design district here in Miami. And we have also investments in Las Vegas that I can tell you about. So that is as a glance. Again, I really ask everybody to look in, dig deeper, dive deeper into what we've got. It's all out there in the public filings. Do your homework. And I think in the years ahead, I think you can be very, very well rewarded. So if we can go to the next slide, basically our symbol is VINO because our wine, Algodon Fine Wines, is our ambassador of the company. That's how we started. And then we grew from there. We grew acquiring real estate and continued to build upon the luxury portfolio. Our mission from the get-go, from the onset, was to really become the LVMH of South America, starting in Argentina because we are contrarian investors at heart. We believe to go into places that have already had, debilitating financial results, and we think we can get the best buys. If you would have bought in the trough of 2008, you could have done very well. If you would have bought in the trough of 1987 crash, you would have done very well. I think the same thing will happen with us into the Argentine marketplace and into the other areas that we're expanding as well. But if you look at the 6 verticals that we have, 6 verticals for a $21 million market cap company with very limited debt to the assets ratio. So we've got Algodon Fine Wines. We'll talk about that. As I said, we've got Algodon Estancias, which we're selling over now 550 plots. On average, those plots will generate more than 200,000, between 150 to 200,000. The last 200 plots are going to be even twice, maybe 3 times as large. So we think the average, when we get final approval on those, can generate more business. But that alone in real estate, once all sold at current value, is worth roughly 160 million US dollars. Since we own the entirety of that project, over 4,100 acres, completely non-leveraged, all the infrastructure non-leveraged, all the wine assets non-leveraged, the lodge, the golf, everything completely non-leveraged, we're able to do a self-financing opportunity for people to acquire these lots. So how that benefits the company: 1, it makes it easier for people to buy. It's an easier purchase. 2, it also increases the potential for interest income in the 5-7 years ahead. We are in a long game. I always tell people, if you're looking at our company to buy the stock for a 2-day trade or a 1-day trade or a week trade, this is not the company for you. We are building a luxury brand. And over time, we believe that brand will be in the eyes of the major luxury players across the globe. Gaucho, Buenos Aires. We invite you to come see our location. It should be open in the mid to late second quarter of this year. In the Miami Design District, we have an online presence right now. It's gaucho.com, which we just recently acquired, or gauchobuenosaires.com. Both will get you to our e-commerce site. We are concentrating not necessarily on fashion. We believe that will be the latter part of our business. Our core of our business is what Argentina is known for, which is leather goods. So we'll be doing leather bags, leather wallets, purses, accessories, in addition to a lot of casa or home items around the Gaucho motif, if you would. In addition to that, we have a small boutique, 22,000 square foot, a luxury, super luxury boutique hotel in the heart of Recoleta, which is basically the Beverly Hills of Buenos Aires. It's nestled right in the Embassy District, right near all of the five-star hotels as well. Really a preeminent property. It's been written about from Condé Nast to National Geographic to Forbes magazine and 50 other plus publications for that matter. And we have some major notable guests at our place. We've had the ambassador from Monaco to the United States, Roger Federer, rented out the whole mansion. We've had a slew of other tennis people there as well, Andre Agassi. The list goes on and on and on. Even Salvatore Ferragamo, actually, when he was doing his tour of Argentina, said besides his own hotel in Tuscany, his favorite hotel in the world was Algodon Mansion in Buenos Aires. So we're really taking no shortcuts, but trying to create the best luxury product, because we believe in time there's going to be appetite for what we're building on the major stage of the luxury, the real big luxury buyers out there like LVMH, Richemont, Kering, and so on. In addition to that, we've made over the course of some great introductions over the course of the last year in COVID. Even though COVID was very horrible, it created a lot of opportunities. It got us all to be thinking what we need to be doing, what people care about the most, which I believe has been helpful for our sales at Algodon Wine Estates. People are getting back to the quality of life, spending more time with families. But with that, those introductions I made over COVID, we were able to actually become an equity investor in a seed project in Las Vegas, which we hopefully in the very near future will be announcing some additional news on. We have a lot of that information already announced in our public filings, so we invite you to look at that. Obviously, being on the NASDAQ, our company our goal is not to be a $2.30 stock or $21 million market cap. As a matter of fact, our liquidation value, based on estimates that we had many years ago, are more than 3x of where the stock price is trading today. But people don't see that because we've had a massive devaluation in the Argentine peso, which affects how we report our assets on the books. So they're devalued on the books because we have to report in US GAAP the current peso devalued basis. When we first started in Argentina and started acquiring these properties, the Argentine peso to the US dollars was 3-to-1. Today, it's 200-to-1. So we have to experience that huge devaluation in peso terms on our balance sheet, which is in fact not the true trading value of where the land and the buildings are valued at today. So what we do is basically we're building the LVMH of South America. We're the mini-me of that, of course, at this time, but we're going to continue to grow step by step to move this company forward. Our mission, of course, is to inspire the world with all of the great things, the cultural dynamics, the great food, the great experience, the Gaucho culture from Buenos Aires. You know, Buenos Aires, when the U.S. was going through its Great Depression up until 1941, when the war broke out, the U.S. was in a horrible situation. We're in World War. The world was in a terrible place. But Argentina from 1890 to about 1952 was actually one of the wealthiest countries in the world. And it was one of the most vibrant cities for culture, for art, for fashion. And we intend to bring that back into the global marketplace. As you can see, this is one of the homes that we've already constructed at Algodon. We've got more homes under construction. Again, I'm not going to reiterate. If you can just look at the screen, we've got over 4,100 acres. We've got heirloom assets at a fraction of the price in Argentina as they would be in Tuscany or Napa, Burgundy, or Bordeaux. We are excited about what we have now because we've been in negotiations. Again, what I'm telling you now is already in the public domain. Tomorrow, as I said, the 10K will be filed as well, so we urge you to take a look at that. But we are in discussions and have been for some time with two luxury, globally well-recognized brands that could be a hotel flag that we're considering building 80-room hotel, super luxe hotel with an additional 40 to 60 branded residences. that will coexist alongside the existing Algodon 450 plus additional lots that we have to sell as well. So this is in the long game, but I think it's truly exciting for a company, again, with a $21 million market cap. Talk about our fine wines. We're here in the U.S. We are also served at 2 Michelin three-star restaurants in London. One is the Fat Duck in Bray. The other is Gordon Ramsay in Chelsea. And this slide will just show you the myriad of awards that we've won over the last many years. One thing I must say is this. Not everybody likes particular wines. Everybody has their own additional palate. But those are the awards that we've won. We are not skimping on quality on our wine. We have one golden nugget that we have out there is really our vines, which were planted in 1946. We have vines from the 60s, the early 70s, all pre-phylloxera, so our vines were not destroyed. So we're able to use that grapefruit, the old vines, and really create some stupendous wines. And that wine, by the way, actually helps create value in the lots to land, because people pay more for a vineyard than they would for just land around a regular golf course. So we're excited about that opportunity going forward. If you just go to the next slide, Monty, there's a huge barrier to entry, for many reasons of going to Argentina. People sometimes just read the headlines because all you hear sometimes is too much negativity in the headlines. But like I said, we are contrarian investors. When the headlines are bad, we tend to go in. One thing that I do love about Argentina, it's a non-leveraged country for the most part, besides the country itself having all the debt. All of the assets of the individuals, every home, every apartment, every business, every commercial property, for the most part, is paid for in cash. So you're never going to see what happened here in 2008 with the massive mortgage collapse and foreclosures. That will never happen in Argentina. Everything is paid for in cash. It's something that we may want to consider in this country too. So we have been written about, and you can Google this, in New York Times, in the Money Magazine, CNN, Condé Nast, Architectural Digest, literally hundreds of publications have written about the quality of what we're building, the luxury aspects of what we have. But besides the land, I want to talk about now the market opportunity for our e-commerce. Even though we're very early stage, and even though everything in the business is a high risk, the 2 most wealthy people in the world today are Jeff Bezos from Amazon and Bernard Arnault from LVMH, who owns the largest conglomerate of luxury brands in the world. LVMH's market cap is almost 350 billion US. He controls more than 75 luxury brands. You have second to him is Richemont, you can see on the screen, with over $65 billion market cap, owning 26 brands. And Kering, of course, is growing with now 15 brands. We want to continue with the quality that we're developing. We believe that sometime during our stage, whether it happens or not, we're building to the vision of quality that an LVMH or a Richemont or a Kering would want to acquire our Gaucho Buenos Aires brands. That's the type of quality and luxury that we're adhering to. And because these companies, these are all public companies, so all that information is available publicly. They have to grow by either 2 ways. One, increase same-store sales, and a lot of their brands are already mature into the marketplace, or they have to acquire. They've got to grow by acquisition. So I think there's an opportunity for a binary event in the years ahead if we continue on our path to go build quality brands. They're not going to stop at 75 LVMH. Richemont's not going to stop acquiring, and neither is Kering. They are public, and they need to grow. As I said, we had a really great Q3. I urge everybody to look at our 10K. It'll be filed tomorrow. I kind of wish we had this event in the next couple of days so I could share more with everybody. But the 10K will be filed tomorrow, and I can just say, read it. It is what it is, and we moved on to the next level. The devaluation of the peso has been horrible for the local people in Argentina. I mean, the pesos are, like I said, when we arrived, we're at 3 pesos. Now they're at 200. But fortunately or unfortunately, it's been a boom, a very positive after we've gone through it. It wasn't a great experience to get through this massive peso decline and 45 to 55% inflation per year. But now that we've made it through, the peso on the blue market is 200. The opportunity for us to buy, to develop, to build infrastructure, to continue to build homes is absolutely enormous, because you're coming in and you're buying, building, and paying labor at cents on the dollar of what you'd pay here in the United States or Italy or anywhere else across the world. So, Buenos Aires is people love it. And with this devalued peso, I can tell you I was there just 2 weeks ago. over more than a decade of going there, I have never seen Buenos Aires, which was shocking to me, coming out of COVID and all the financial and economic hardships that they've had. You can't get a taxi. It's tough to get an Uber. All restaurants were full, coffee shops, cafes, everything bustling. The city was booming. The flights were full. People are going to Buenos Aires. It is cheap by any economic standards, by the US dollar. And if you consider the euro or the British pound, it's even more exaggerated how inexpensive it is to enjoy just a marvelous time in Buenos Aires. So I think the tourism is going to be a boom for the many, many, many years ahead. And by the way, we're not alone in that thought process. The Marriott Group announced over the course of 2021 that they bought 2 hotels in Buenos Aires and they bought another one in Bariloche. And I know just recently they were looking at several other hotel properties in the Mendoza region as well. So they have a long-term view, as we do, as Argentina will be a great place for tourism. So we're positioned for e-commerce. We're on coexisting when we open this store in the Miami Design District. By the way, our neighbors are Gucci, our neighbors are Off-White, our neighbors are Bottega Veneta, our neighbors are Chanel, our neighbors are Balenciaga, all on this street. Actually, Tesla's one door down from us as well. Breitling Watches is our neighbor. So we're in the foothold of the most luxurious area to sell our goods, going to be battling them at a more affordable price point because we're able to source and pay a lot of our designers and a lot of opportunities in Argentina versus doing it in other places across the world. So I think the pace of evaluation is going to help in all areas, not only in the land areas, but in tourism, but also in our Gaucho goods as well. Leveraging e-commerce, I don't have to go much through this. E-commerce is booming. It's not going to stop. It's going to continue to grow. We're still at the very infancy stages of it, and it's going to continue to grow in the decades ahead. You know, over the course of last year, we made this public. I don't know whether you believe in Bitcoin long-term or don't. The reality is this, we do believe it exists, it's out there, and we have opened our lot sales to taking Bitcoin. We have sold a lot in Bitcoin. We immediately turned around and sold it. And we just know that the mechanism works, and we're going to continue to go out there and use this type of mechanism as another currency, if you would, to acquire our lands. And I think I'm not sitting here going to bet on Bitcoin. I'm not going to bet the farm. If the Bitcoin comes in, we're likely going to be selling it. But the reality is this, it's just another means for us to sell the different wares and goods that we have in the company. All of our companies are up and running. We've got virtually no leverage in the company whatsoever on Algodón wine estates. Everything's paid for in cash. We're sitting in a very good position for 2022. We have a $50 million equity line that we can go and continue to grow with. So from a risk and reward basis for all the real estate that we have, I think, we're an incredible opportunity for people to take a look at. But you've got to do your homework. There's nothing without risk for sure. But the reality is this, from a risk reward standpoint, I think we're one of the best plays on Wall Street right now. And I couldn't be prouder to be the CEO of this company with the magnificent, battle-hardened team that we have that got us through some very difficult times in Argentina and through COVID. We are more focused. We are stronger than we've been ever before. And we are ready to tackle the next 5 years and decade ahead. As you can see, we've got great brand partnerships from Sherry Lehman in New York. We've got new stuff coming on board as well. We're happy to be with the NASDAQ this past year, and I think it's going to really help fuel the growth for our company in the years ahead. Additionally, somebody asked me, what are some of the catalysts that can help really grow the company? And this Las Vegas event that we have. We were fortunate enough over COVID to meet Bill Allen. Bill is the former CEO of Outback Steakhouses or Blooming Brands. He took them private with L. Catterton for a $3.9 billion private transaction, many years ago. Bill has joined our board of directors. I'm learning a lot from him. He's my mentor now in the global marketplace. But he's really leading up this Las Vegas project. And this could really be, if this works, there's no guarantee that anything happens. But if this comes to fruition, this could be larger than anything that we have with all of the land, with our boutique hotels, with our e-commerce brand, with anything that we have out there. This, I think, is one of the most exciting projects that we have going right now. We put in a total of $7 million. We have a total commitment of $35 million over certain milestones, so we don't have to put it all in. And I'm super excited about how this thing is developing, not without its own twists and turns and everything that else that naturally goes on with business. But this thing is on track. If it does come to fruition, this can be one of the biggest binary biotech-esque type of events that could happen to our company. And I'm super, super excited about it because it's just where it is, and we've got a great leader and partner of that, Bill Allen and his team leading that group forward. As I mentioned to you earlier, we can go through this slide. We're opening up in the Miami Design District in Q2. Excited about that. It's looking great. We'll invite everybody out to the grand opening for that. We presented, I think it was 2 months ago at the New York Fashion Week. We've been getting huge press over the last couple of months. We've got a new creative director, which is just doing a phenomenal job. So that's really taking on its own life. And here's the catalyst for growth. I think we're running out of time shortly, but I'll put some on the screen. We've acquired additional real estate assets, which was already publicly announced. We will have increased the shareholder equity of this company, another $2.4 million in Q1. Again, that's already in the public filings. It was an all stock transaction, no cash. It increased the shareholder equity $2.4 million and is already generating positive cash flow for 2022 as well. As I mentioned, we made $7 million additional investment in our Las Vegas project, and we're going to continue to move forward with that and make more investments as the milestones are hit. We've also acquired a minority interest we had in our Gaucho Group, Inc., which really consolidates efforts, helps to save in some accounting a cost, and we really like to have that back into the company, which I think is a huge positive move for time and corporate savings. Our catalyst for growth on the wine side is to build out this phase 2. We have EDSA, which is based in Fort Lauderdale. They've done over 500 projects around the world, from the Kennedy Center projects in Dubai. They develop for the Four Seasons. They develop for the Marriott Group, for the Ritz-Carltons. They've done amazing projects. I invite you to look at their website, EDSA, to see what they've done. We're working with them on the development of the master plan, the 80-room luxury hotel, and the 40 to 60 branded residences. If we bring in this hotel using about a 60% occupancy rate, we believe we can contribute another $25 million annually to our revenues coming from this particular hotel. And I think if we're able to sign one of these major flags that we're speaking with, I think the value of all our real estate, the value of everything goes up, and perhaps the velocity of the sales goes up as well. So we've already received approval from the master plan when we were down there in November. The mayor, the city, the province of not Buenos Aires, but of San Rafael and Mendoza, quickly, wrapped their arms around the project. It would be really great for the region, and they're really excited about having us. So they quickly got that approved. We're happy about. As what we're doing to create more value, we had bought 2,000 additional acres over COVID, which was a huge opportunity for us. We paid that off in cash. We've been digging different water wells to increase the value of that arid property. We've already got 2 wells. We've hit basically gold in water. Gold in the desert water in the desert is actually gold. So we've been doing very well with that. That helps to increase the value of the land. I don't think that's valued in our stock yet either. People don't understand it. We're developing our global e-commerce strategies. Tourism is booming in Argentina. I mean, everything that it's looking like right now, as bad as it had looked several years ago, as horrible as it looked during COVID, I couldn't be more excited right now about 2022 going out for the next 5 to 10 years. Our catalyst for growth, as you see here as well, tourism is booming. Our hotels are filling up. Hotels in all of Argentina are filling up. So I invite you to come down and check out Argentina, check out our properties. I think you're going to love them. Our fine wines launch e-commerce. We're launching more a big, heavy strategy since we've moved our operations to Miami. In Florida as well, we've got some interesting things that we're working on. We hope to have some news out for you when we can share that in the weeks and months ahead as well. But we're excited about where the wine business is going. Again, value drivers with Gaucho Buenos Aires. I told you it's e-commerce. That is really when we're going to put the marketing push on this e-commerce now. We have our store in Miami open. We're going to go side by side. I think you're going to be hearing a lot about Gaucho Buenos Aires in the future. I think we've got a really, really big shot with this little infant of a company. I think if we do this right, this can have huge, great economic returns for our company. Why Gaucho Holdings? We believe we got award-winning brands. We think we're developing something that an LVMH or Richemont or Kering would be interested in. We're sitting on, huge non-leveraged property. That's a base of our business. And we've got several binary events from Las Vegas to the additional lot sales to Gaucho e-commerce taking off. Several events that could be huge catalysts to take our stock to completely another levels. So that's kind of where we are. I would just like to flip through, and you can do it on your own time, some of our asset gallery of the photos. These are not, some of these on the very end are renderings because We haven't completed the conversion of the winery yet, but it'll be done in 2022. But all of this you're seeing right now is already in. This is, a lot of projects go sell on renderings. We've got the actual goods here. We've got, 4,000 acres of an estate. We've got grass tennis courts. We've got 7 clay tennis courts, all the Grand Slam surface, beautiful golf course. We have our own restaurants. We have our own boutique hotel. We have people visiting. We have revenues coming from that. We're building even a bigger restaurant. We're expanding our winery. We are preparing for the future. We're selling these lots. We're selling more lots in 2021 than we've ever sold, and I am excited about seeing the same type of results. Even better if we're able to get a 5-star hotel partner signed with us throughout 2022 and beyond. We're in a long game, and it's exciting. Our stock, you got to do the math, but our stock, by I think any metric, if you look at all the land holdings that we have, all the businesses that we have, the debt to equity ratio that we have. Look at our 10K tomorrow, and you be the judge on if our company on the NASDAQ with all of these assets should be at a $21 million market cap. I think they should not. You be the judge. We invite you to join us. We are in for the long haul, and I'm open now to take any questions.
Great job, Scott. Such enthusiasm. Wonderful. Jennifer Grant asks, what are rising interest rates doing for your model?
Rising interest rates, we were really in a debt, almost a non-leveraged environment. So it's not having a real effect on our particular model. What we try to do is produce in pesos as much as we can. We do things other parts of the world as well, but produce in pesos and sell in US dollars. When we're actually selling our lands at Algodón Wine Estates, we have a fixed 7.2% rate on the land that we actually sell. So we're able to drive more interest income. But our properties out in Argentina are at a fraction of the cost. We don't finance them. We pay for them in cash. Great.
Ebony Wade says, congratulations on the EPS moving from negative 0.26 to 11 cents. Did you guide to your next quarter? And what are you looking to see your growth at for the remainder of 2022, 2023?
That's a really great question. I can tell you this. I'm not going to give any guidance for tomorrow because tomorrow is 24 hours away. I'm super excited, like I said earlier, about where our company is today and the growth potential that we have. The 10K will be released tomorrow, and that will be the exactly where we are. So excited about where we are. I can say that I don't see any slowdown in our lot sales as long as the world continues to now come and travel to Argentina. I think it will open up even more opportunity for us in lot sales. And I'm really going to make a major push on our e-commerce and our Gaucho branded assets as well as the wine.
Great. Simon Volberg asks, what is your cash balance currently?
We've got as end of the Q3, I can tell you it was more than $3 million US dollars. If you look at tomorrow, you'll see the cash balance as of the 10K as well.
Okay. Kevin McGarth says, you spoke about revenue potential from the sale of lots in Argentina. Can you repeat that again? It sounded like you were talking about 100 million in potential revenue. Over what time frame do you think that could happen?
That's really, I think if you look at it, I think it'll be more than 100 million actually, because the initial 100 million was on the first phase of lots. We've just extended the master plan. So there's a lot of more development that we have to do from an infrastructure and those additional several hundred lots. I think the real, the funds that we can derive out of this will be more than 160 million, including our interest income that we can derive. And I think it'll be a good 5-year time that we'll be able to execute and be able to sell all of those lots.
John Sparks asks, why do you think the stock does not reflect the current value of the company? Is there any convertible debt or any other factors holding the stock down, or simply the fact that the company may not be that widely known?
I think it's a combination of all of those above. Yeah, we do have some convertible debt out there, but it can convert into stock at a higher price than the stock is at today. So I think that's actually a good thing. I think the stock is not widely known. We haven't even rung the bell yet on the NASDAQ. My intention is in the next 60 days is to have that NASDAQ bell ringing, kind of tied in with another announcement. If we can have some other good news to share with folks. And, I didn't want to specifically, I didn't want to ring the bell over COVID because I want people, as long as we've tried to get to the NASDAQ, I want people to be able to come up and use this as an opportunity for exposure. And I think just being a $21 million market cap company, I think a lot of institutions don't come and look at us at this point yet because there's a lot of liquidity issues if they want to take a larger position to get in or out. So I think that's a real opportunity. So it's a very valid question. And I think the answer to his question were all of the above. He pointed out all of the things that have kind of kept a lid on the valuation of our company.
Great. Well, we do have more questions for you, but we're out of time, so we'll send them to you directly. And please join us again in the future for your updates. Thrilling presentation. Thank you so much for your time.
Appreciate it.
All right, everyone, stay with us. We're transitioning to the next presenter. We'll be right back.